What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and now TV. Today, we are talking about the first episode of the new season, or just, I guess, yeah, it's the new season, or whatever the heck they consider this, of Dexter, called Dexter New Blood. We're talking about episode 1, Cold Snap. Joining me today is a fellow Dexter head, the one half of DNA Gaming, the wonderful Angela.
The better half.
The better half. There we go. That's what we're going to have to do every week for this show. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
Like I said, we've been doing this show for a while now and finally getting to jump into TV. And I'm excited that this is the first show that we get to talk about. I was nervous when I said we were going to do Dexter and you got all excited. I was like, yes, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I love Dexter. I had to break out all 8 seasons. I have them all on DVD that I bought years ago. And then I have the first novel because the original show is based on novels. There's more than one, but that's the very first one. I had to have my little backdrop here of, what we're talking about today. But yeah, we're talking about episode 1, Cold Snap. What did we think of this episode?
It just brought back what I loved about it to begin with. Like I was worried that it wasn't going to meet my expectations because, you just can't beat the original sometimes, but I think they're going in the right direction.
Yeah, this was definitely a good way of coming back. It wasn't like, things weren't just happening automatically. You get this slow movement through what is he up to now? Who is he? I love how they throw some curveballs at you.
Yeah.
But you're pretty much seeing like what, spoilers for the prior 8 seasons of Dexter, but if you haven't seen the show, we're going to spoil it right now, so we'll put a little bit of spoils we're not going to spoil this episode yet, but we're going to spoil some stuff that happened in the prior seasons. Pretty much a lot of shit happens. A lot of people disregard the final season because even me, as somebody who loves this show, Dexter season 8 was not great. It kind of ended as I think the way that Dexter fans felt when that season came out was kind of how Game of Thrones fans felt when the final season of Game of Thrones came out. It just was underwhelming. It kind of like rushed things, and I feel like they just lost their luster and they just needed to end it somehow. When I found out they were redoing this, or they weren't redoing it, but they were going to do a final, as of right now, this is a 10-episode season, and this is it. As of right now, we know how things go. If it's successful, sometimes they're like, we're coming back. I love how they kind of brought things back in, how they weaved, they didn't ignore what season 8 did, which I appreciate. Even though it wasn't a good season, they still like, listen, we know we fucked up, but we got to own up to it. So, but we're going to try to end it the right way. And I hope that's how this season goes.
I hope so.
The setting, the way the show looks, especially now that it's set in more of a cold environment compared to Miami. I love the color that, the original Dexter show was so bright, and colorful because it was in Miami. Like everything popped. Now we're in a colder environment where things are kind of more muddled, but it just looks so good. And man, Michael C. Hall looking good after 8 years away.
Right?
I don't know what else to say that's non-spoilers before we jump into the spoilers. Listen, this is going to be probably our shortest show ever because we're not going to be going into some crazy, huge, conversation about it. We're just going to pretty much talk about the episode, and that's it. Just so we don't have an episode that's 2 hours long, like our episode that's coming out this week. But Dan's not here, so the show is going to be shorter. Yes. So we blame Dan for all the longer episodes. Okay, cool.
He talks too much.
So yeah, so if you haven't watched Dexter New Blood episode 1, make sure to go watch it and then come back and watch the rest of this episode, because we're about to spoil the show. So I'm gonna find a way to get a spoiler alert blinking on the screen for you. And here we go. I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds and then we're gonna start. All right. This opens up. I love the way it just kind of goes right into Dexter's everyday life, what he's doing. Just kind of normal everyday stuff. He lives out in the boonies. He's doing stuff around the house. He owns freaking farm animals. He's he's ice fishing. He lives in an awesome cabin. He's living the secluded life. And this is where we get our first little like curveball, because he's driving to town in his truck, which is a cool truck, by the way. I'm not going to say, I think it's a Ford. Dan's not here to give me the exact make and model of this truck, but I believe it's a Ford. We'll go with that. So he's going down the road, and then a cop pulls up, turns the lights on. He's got to pull over, and you're like, oh man, this is crazy. What's going to happen? And you find out that, the cop and him are in a relationship, because they start doing it in the back of her cruiser. Yep. You're like, okay, this is very different from the way that Dexter was in the other show. He didn't like to be involved with anybody because of what he was. So if you're new to Dexter and you're just watching this saying, fuck it, I'm not going to watch the show or whatever, you've never heard of Dexter, but you want to watch this, Dexter is a serial killer, but Dexter is a serial killer of, like, he only kills bad people, like people who got away with, murder or just crimes where he feels that, death is justified. He doesn't just kill. He's not like your typical serial killer who just kills for pleasure or whatever that stuff. Well, I guess he gets pleasure out of his killings, but he feels justified because it's somebody who doesn't deserve life. In this, so in the prior seasons, he has his relationships. He has a kid, but it was very weird because he was very active in his serial killing life. And so he had to try to balance those things, where in this, as about 85% of this episode, he hasn't killed since Dexter Morgan officially died. And I say that in air quotes because he's not dead. If you've ever seen the final shot of the last season, he doesn't die. He's got a new name. His name is Jim Lindsay, which is it's the original author of the book. His name Jeff Lindsay. So they just it's kind of like an homage to the original author, which I liked. I really liked the fact, so in the original show, Dexter's subconscious was his father, Harry, or his stepfather, adopted father. Mm-hmm. Where in this, it's his sister. Which, how'd you like that?
I was like, wait, isn't she dead? I'm like, did I miss something?
Right? You're like, okay, did they retcon? Did they retcon the 8th season? Are we getting Deb? Like, no. Fortunately not. It's again, instead of it being Harry, it's now Deb. Deb is so Harry in the original show. So Harry was Dexter's adopted father, who pretty much, so he had an urge to kill things, and Harry is the one who trained him on how to be the proper serial killer. I don't know how that works. Proper serial killer, another air quote for that. Proper. But yeah, he pretty much taught him, if you're going to kill, these are the type of people you need to kill. Deb is the opposite. She is urging him to stay sober, let's say. He hasn't killed in 8 years. She's preventing, she's like, listen, you're doing great. Stick with this and make sure you don't get, if anybody comes up from your past, do not get involved with them, because you know how it all ends. And I love that scene when his son comes. He figures out it's his son. How early did you figure out that it was him?
Had a feeling it was somebody that knew him that was looking for him. I honestly thought it was, what's her face's kids, his
Oh,
previous
one of the two.
relationship.
Yeah, one of the
One of
two
the
kids. I
2.
can't remember their names right now. It's been so long. It's been so long
I
since
know,
I watched it.
I can't remember their kids, but I honestly thought it was one of them because I didn't think that Harrison was old enough
See, I don't remember how old
to.
he was at the end of the original series, and this is 8 years later. So I'm thinking he's like 16. So he
So,
was probably like 8, somewhat. Because I
yeah.
know in the original series it kind of jumped in time. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
like every season was a new year.
yeah.
It jumped in years. But I think I immediately was like, this is Harrison. Actually, my wife said, "Is that his son?" I was like, "I don't know, but I have a really strong feeling that it is." And it ends up being his son. But his son comes looking for Dexter, asking for Dexter Morgan. He's like, "I don't know who you're talking about," because Deb is telling him, "Don't get involved because you know that the people die around you that you love."
Yes.
And
Ugh.
she's naming all the people from the prior show that have died. I think it was Dokes. I don't know why she named Dokes. He didn't give a shit about Dokes. So, and if you want to know who Dokes is, everybody, he is literally a living meme. He's the surprise motherfucker. That
Yeah.
is Dokes from Dexter. But he names Dokes LaGuerta, which, man, I don't even remember her. I didn't remember her dying. I got to rewatch the
I
original series. He and
Yeah.
who else? Does she name before she does herself? Oh, Rita, his
Yeah.
wife. And then and it wasn't like she just goes me. She literally lifts her shirt up. So in the final season, the final couple episodes, so Deb gets shot, she goes into a coma and she dies. Dexter throws her into the ocean and then he speeds away and dies because there was a hurricane hitting Miami. It was a mess. That season was a mess. But so she reaches down and she digs her fingers into her stomach and pulls out the bullet and goes me as the final person that died because of because he got too close. I thought it was a really cool scene. Harrison goes away. He doesn't bend to it until the very end of the episode, which I thought was really cool because Dexter is trying to build a new life. He's got someone he's involved in a relationship. He's got in his eyes, he's got a good job. He's got a good, living arrangement with all the things that he does. He enjoys. I think he enjoys not killing, but he gets the urge all the time. That's why he goes out hunting. There's a few scenes in this where he's running through the woods and he aims his gun at this beautiful white deer, which I've never seen a white deer in my life, but this deer is beautiful. And
But
he
it's
doesn't.
horribly CG.
Oh yeah, it's definitely CG. But I just the image.
Horribly.
It reminds me. There's a scene in God of War, the newest God of War, where Kratos and Atreus are hunting, and they run into this beautiful white deer. It's kind of the same scene, but they
Yeah.
end up killing it. I mean, this one ended up dying too, but not by Dexter's hand because Dexter, I think, this is the way of kind of suppressing his urge to kill. He gets himself to like the max, and then he's able to pull himself out of it. He feels like he's winning. But you always got to have this douchebag come into town and ruin all the fun.
I hated him.
This guy, I was so happy when they offed him.
Yes.
But I love that it wasn't just like he comes in, causes an issue with Dexter, and then Dexter kills him. There was a whole thing. And I loved every bit of it. Like, you first see this guy. I can't remember what his name was. It's like Calorin or something. What was your name, buddy? Where are you? Oh my god, of course. I'm not gonna be able to see it. Sorry for the pause, people. I'm trying to figure out this dude's name. What was the character's name? Matt Caldwell. played by Steve Robinson. Never heard of this guy, but he did a really good job at playing a piece of shit. Very good job
What
of
do you
playing a
do?
piece of shit. He comes into town. He is the son. You find out he's the son of this like major. Is he an oil tycoon?
I think so. I think it's the one that they're protesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his dad.
So yeah, so they're he's the son of this very rich man, and he wants to buy a gun. And of course, Dexter does it the right way. Dexter works at Fred's Sporting Goods, which, it's this little tiny ring. He lives in a rinky dink town in the middle of New York. I think it's called Iron Lakes.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's just like a desk. He's like just a clerk at this little sporting goods store. Well, this guy comes in, tries to buy a gun. He really, instead of buying like a typical hunting gun, or hunting rifle, he wants to buy literally a machine gun. Like this, I like I said, Dan ain't here to tell me exactly what model this gun is, but it's a gun you wouldn't commonly use for hunting.
I don't know. I don't know my guns as good as he
I
does.
know. I should took notes. I should have asked Dan before we did
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Watch
Get all the
this
right
with
information.
me.
What is this? That's okay. So yeah, so he does the proper procedure of putting him through the system because you got to have a background check, and he gets put on a hold, and the guy gets pissed off. He's like, "Oh, you can't break rules, blah blah blah." Well,
Yeah.
Jim, he's got all Jim the rule guy, and you're like, I hate this guy already, and it's only been 30 seconds. So he leaves. And he runs into him a bunch of times, and this is where you can see that Dexter is starting to unravel because of the way this guy is. He thinks he literally owns the town because even like everybody in the town loves his father, even though his father is not a very nice man himself. He sees him again at a bar when he goes out with his girlfriend, Angela, who is the cop. And yeah, he's like, just being a drunk and doing stupid stuff, and that you could just, and still you're seeing these things like Dexter just starting to like, he's trying to stay under control, like he's trying to suppress his feelings because in the prior show, this was prime for him. Like he saw somebody like this, that was his target. He then would go hunt and get this guy and immediately kill him. Where this was like slowly, it was Dexter he's like, no, I'm not going to get back into it. And even Deb, is feeding into it too. She's like, I know. She's like, ignore this guy. He's nothing. Like, just leave it alone. Like, there's no point in doing anything about this. But then you find out some information about this guy, that he was involved in a boating accident. At first you're told he wasn't driving the boat, and so 5 people died. And he was drunk, but he wasn't driving. So he's a good guy. He didn't do anything wrong. It was whoever he was with, blah, blah, blah. Well, you find out when the background check comes through for the gun, and Dexter has to bring like the guy who owns the shop's like, Dexter, I need you to deliver this. Like, why can't the guy come pick
Yeah.
it up? Why do I have to go?
Right.
And this definitely doesn't help Dexter's feelings, because he goes to this dude's house to drop off this gun, and he runs into one of the friend that came to the sporting goods shop with him, Bill. And Bill's got a scar on his face because he was involved in the boating accident, and at first they walk in, and freaking Matt and a girl that you find out Dexter knows from the town, are just banging it out in the bedroom. And
Yep.
Bill is so pissed, and he's so like, because you find out that he's been covering for Matt, that Matt was the one driving, and that Matt purposely caused the entire incident, killing all those people. And and Bill's like doing lines of coke in front of Dexter. Like, it's a bad scene, but it was, to be honest, the actor who plays Bill, Charlie Thurston, he did a fantastic job in this scene. I thought just all these emotions, like him trying to be cool, then he's breaking down, he's doing the drugs, and then immediately he's like, dude, it's got to stay between us, all right? And you're like, okay,
No.
sure thing, I'll try my best. Oh, also I got to mention Fred Jr. the guy who owns the son of the guy who owns the sporting goods shop. Love him. He's talking about him and his husband getting a dog. And the name, it was Garfield. Who names it? He wants to name his dog after a cat.
Yeah.
This dude was great.
I love it.
And you could tell this place doesn't get a lot of business because he's over there playing with like squeaker toys. Great little side character. Doesn't do much, but he's good for where he's at. We find out that Angela's got a daughter too. Like this woman looks really young, and she has a daughter who's like in high school. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Mm.
Because Audrey was her daughter, right? The one who was at the protests, and she comes up. She's like, "You have a math test today. What are you doing here?" That was her daughter.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because before she looks at like her Ring camera and sees that like she's inviting a bunch of people over, and she's so nonchalant about it. She's like, "That's more people than she said. I gotta go." Like I'd be like, whew, I'd be going home like, "Get the out of my house!"
Right?
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to that time.
It's just call the cops on him. I mean, she's
Right? She's underage. Mom, you called the
she
cops
has
on
that
me?
accent.
Yep.
I am the cop.
I am the. She just comes in like, yeah. But yeah, we get. We also get the scene where the Matt's father like literally rents out the tavern that everybody goes to, and Dexter's pissed because he can't get his tuna sandwich.
Yep.
Everybody's protesting about. And he's like, "Man, I just want to get my tuna sandwich. I can't even get there."
Yeah.
It's great. I love how everybody kind of knows each other. It's a very close knit community.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know exactly how long Dexter's been here, but everybody knows him. He is.
He says that he's worked
2 years, right?
2 or 3 years. So he's been there for long enough to learn everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody know him.
So yeah, we meet Matt's dad. He comes out and he's very, businessman like, and he's trying to appeal to the protesters, but no one's having it. He like buys hot chocolate for everybody, and Audrey just crushes it or pours it out, which is great. But then it starts, things are starting to unravel with Dexter as he keeps seeing this hooded figure coming around, which you later find out is his son Harrison. And he then, after Dexter finds out that about the Matt thing, about how Matt is the one who caused the crash and killed all those people, it's go time. And well, actually, no, this isn't what causes the issue. So Dexter does his normal things. Like the third time you see this in the episode is when Dexter's running through the snow again, and he goes to aim at the deer, and instead he nicely walks up to the deer to pet it or just be close to it, and then a shot comes in. And earlier in the episode, we get a cool shot where Dexter's bringing the gun to Matt, and Matt takes it out and stuff, and then Dexter disarms him, smashes him in the face. But it's all just in his head. It's just what he wants to do to this guy, because this dude he just sucks. This is a typical piece of shit.
Yeah.
And this guy played it really well, so I got to give it to him. As much as I say the character is a piece of shit, the guy who plays him did a fantastic job. Well, it's the same situation. So that we find out that Matt is the one who shoots the deer. He comes up, he's like, Jim, being all buddy with him, and Dexter just pops him, knocks him out. And then you get before it even cuts to the next scene, it shows that Dexter's got to hide the evidence. So he cuts the deer's throat to hide the blood splatter from Matt's face. And he drags him away, and you get to see Dexter do his prep room, which was always one of the best parts of every episode of Dexter, was him prepping his room. Where in the old show, he already had all the supplies up and ready. He had everything to go. He has to improvise now because he hasn't done this in so long. He's trying not to do this, but this Matt guy just tipped him over the edge. And so he's he cuts the plastic he uses is off the top of his greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the duct tape. He tapes Matt to the table, And he also goes back to doing his thing where he always takes a sample of blood from every victim
Yep.
or every, killer that he kills. And he uses just a piece of glass from like a lantern, which I thought
Yeah.
it was really cool. But then by the end, he's like, I don't need souvenirs. I don't need souvenirs anymore. And he just discards it. But I love the whole interaction between him and Matt once Matt wakes up and he pretty much admits to everything that he is. He's like, you're a serial killer. He's like, yeah, I used to be. No, I still am. And he's like, dude, she's trying to bribe Dexter to let him go. And he's like, dude, we are way past this. You know who I am. You've seen me. What am I supposed
Yep.
What do you think I'm going to do? You're going to go tell somebody. So no, it's too late for you. You're going to die. And then that's when Matt turns again and he just calls him all the names. And then Dexter, that's what just justifies Dexter to make the final kill. And then we also get to see him dismember Matt. And I love the shot where you see him throw the head in the bag just like it's nothing.
No.
Just
Yes.
And I love how he has to find, his last dumping spot was always in the middle, like out in Miami Bay. And there's actually a whole season of Dexter that has to do with people discovering his little dump spot. Well, he has to improvise. He's got to find a new spot because he doesn't have that. But he does live on a lake. And it's cold here all the time. So, and who's going to come looking? So he decides he's going to dump it into the hole that's in the middle of the lake. Earlier in the episode, though, we got that really weird thing where he's like dreaming of Deb. Like he goes out to the little flag comes up on the hole in the and he goes
Yes.
over and he's pulling it up and he's like really struggling. And then it's Deb bursts out. And then a freaking creepy like swamp thing comes and grabs her and pulls her back in. I was like,
yeah, that got me.
what the hell? All right, you got I was like a little jumpy there. But yeah, some creepy imagery. The use of Deb in this was great. The way that she is trying to persuade him to stay clean. It's like he's an addict. This is his addiction is killing, but at least he's killing the people who deserve to die. That's the whole point of Dexter. So he kills Matt, dismembers him, puts him, disposes his body, and then he kind of turns on the whole letting Harrison back in. And I love when he's going to his truck and Deb's like, what are you doing? And he's like, not listening to you anymore. And gets in his truck and goes. He goes to the bus station and tells Harrison, he's like, I am Dexter Morgan. I am your father. Come stay with me. I really hope they tell us in future episodes whatever happened to Hannah, because they do mention her. Deb mentions her. So she is, still somewhere. I really hope she comes back because I love the actress who plays. She's in The Handmaid's Tale. Yvonne Shavatsky, I think is her name. She's fantastic. I hope she makes an appearance. I really hope we do see some more people from his past show up. But also, in a way, I'm kind of like, I'll be okay if all 10 of these episodes have nothing to do with anybody else in the prior show. Like if, Harrison's here, even maybe Hannah shows up because of the fact that Harrison was with her. But other than that, like, I'm kind of tossed. I would be like, holy shit, if other characters from the past came up. But I'd also be like, all right, I'm okay if no one else showed up. So I'm kind of like in the middle.
I did see a spoiler and I'm sad that I saw it.
I'm staying away. I accidentally clicked on episode 2 and I looked at the cast and I was like, nope, got to scroll up. I didn't see anything. But yeah, do we have any final thoughts on episode 1? What are we looking forward to?
I hope Deb stays as that annoying little fly in his ear. 'Cause I liked at the end where right before he kills Matt, like he's fighting, he's got the knife above his head, he's got it rested there. He's like, okay, I'm gonna hear him out. Then he's like, nah, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. So
But you can see him, he's still trying to fight it because he knows once it happens, he's done.
I can't wait. I just want more. I'm so excited.
Yes.
So Deb staying. I really hope she sticks around, trying to convince. I think she's always going to be that annoying person. I mean, she's literally one of people, like, when people talk about the prior show, Deb is one of those people that a lot of people talk about and say, she's so annoying. She's so annoying. And I always loved Deb because she was so much. She was so out there, and she said fuck a lot. And I can
Yes.
appreciate that.
I can
appreciate
relate to that.
Yeah, exactly. Jennifer Carpenter's a fantastic actress, and I'm excited for the way that they kind of did that little twist. But yeah, I'm very excited for what's to come. I hate that I got to wait another, well, not really a full
Okay.
week. By the time this will be out on Wednesday, you guys will see this episode Wednesday morning. And then every Sunday is a new episode, and we'll be talking about it every week because why not?
Right.
Other than that, we do have a new podcast episode coming out on Friday. We're talking about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And then, yeah, we have other shows in the future. But it was good to just come and sit down and talk to somebody who likes something like a show. We can finally get the show part of this started, of this channel. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Angela, where can people find you on social media?
Oh shit! You do this to me every time, and you think that I can remember this?
Got to write it down. Just have it like sticky noted on your desk. When Brett asks me what.
I run our DNA Twitter account, so it's at DNA Gaming _1, and we're on Twitch, DNA _gaming 1. I got it.
Yeah, links will be in the description for that. I am at Parker Dissects on Twitter, Parker Dissects on Instagram, and also make sure to go follow Dissect That Film on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure to drop a comment on the video about your thoughts on Dexter, episode 1 of New Blood, and subscribe to the channel because we're trying to get those 100 subs. I can't talk, but that's normal for this show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will see you all next week as we talk about episode 2. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is the better half of DNA Gaming, Angela. And this is Dissect That Film. Bye.